You watch two athletes line up at the same starting block, same training, same coach, same diet, same sleep schedule, same relentless discipline. The gun fires, and one of them wins by half a second every single time. You call that talent. But the real answer is far stranger and far less comfortable, because a piece of that half second was decided before either of them was born. Long before you choose a sport, your body has already chosen some things for you. Consider the fast twitch muscle fiber. Some people are simply born with more of it packed densely through their legs, ready to fire explosively for short bursts. Others are born with slow twitch fibers dominating instead, built for endurance rather than speed. You don't train your way into this ratio. You inherit it, the same way you inherit eye color, mostly fixed before your first breath. Height works the same way. A basketball player standing 7 feet tall didn't out-hustle their way there. A gymnast built low and compact didn't will herself into that frame. Limb length, torso to leg ratio, even the density of your bones, all of it is negotiated by genes you never voted on. Journalist David Epstein spent years investigating exactly this question, eventually writing an entire book examining why elite athletes' bodies look so different from yours and mine, and so different from each other depending on the sport. What he found again and again was uncomfortable for anyone who believes sport is purely a story of effort. Certain bodies are simply better suited to certain physical tasks, in ways no amount of practice can fully overcome. Here's where it gets stranger. Populations that have lived at high altitude for generations in parts of East Africa, for instance, often carry inherited adaptations for oxygen efficiency that lowland populations don't share. Physiologists studying elite distance runners from these regions have found measurable differences in how efficiently their bodies use oxygen at altitude, differences shaped by generations of ancestors living and working in thin air. That's not culture, that's not work ethic, that's biology, inherited across centuries, showing up on a track. So ask yourself something uncomfortable. If a runner's advantage comes partly from ancestry they didn't choose, is that fair? And if it is fair, why do other genetic differences in sport get labeled unfair instead? This is where the story stops being about biology and starts being about the rules we build around it. Every organized sport is, underneath its uniforms and scoreboards, a system of categories. Weight classes in boxing exist because size creates an unfair fight. Age divisions exist because a fully grown adult shouldn't compete against a child. These categories are humanity's attempt to manufacture fairness inside a body that was never distributed fairly to begin with. But categories break down at the edges. Sports have long wrestled with where to draw lines around sex, around certain natural hormone levels, around physical differences that don't fit neatly into two boxes. Athletic governing bodies have written and rewritten eligibility rules for decades, trying to decide which natural variations count as an unfair advantage and which simply count as being human. Here's the twist that makes this so difficult to resolve. Nobody disqualifies a basketball player for being born unusually tall. Nobody asks a Kenyan runner to prove their oxygen efficiency falls within an approved range. But other natural variations, particularly around hormones and sex development, have been treated differently, regulated, tested, sometimes publicly scrutinized in ways height and lung capacity never are. Why the difference? Some argue it's about maintaining fair categories that were built around the average sex-based performance gap, protecting competition for the majority of athletes within it. Others argue that singling out one kind of natural variation while ignoring every other genetic advantage in sport isn't protecting fairness at all. It's discrimination wearing the language of fairness, applied unevenly depending on which trait makes people uncomfortable. Both arguments come from people who care about the same thing, a level playing field. They simply disagree about what level even means when no two bodies start in the same place. Think about what this reveals about sport itself. We tell ourselves that competition rewards effort, but effort was always operating inside bodies that were never equal to begin with. The 7-foot athlete and the athlete with unusually efficient lungs and the athlete with a rare hormone profile are all playing the same genetic lottery. We've simply decided some lottery results deserve medals and others deserve headlines about fairness. This isn't only a sports question, it's a mirror for something bigger. You didn't choose your reflexes, your metabolism, the shape of your hands, the wiring of your brain that makes some skills come easily and others feel impossible no matter how hard you try. Every classroom, every workplace, every relationship contains the same quiet lottery that plays out on a track or a court, just with lower stakes and no scoreboard to make it obvious. Maybe the uncomfortable truth isn't that sport is unfair. Maybe it's that sport is simply the most visible version of a much older human problem. We built a world that rewards traits distributed by chance, and then we argue endlessly about which chances should count. You watch two athletes line up at the same starting block, and now you know the race actually started generations earlier, in bodies neither of them designed, inside a system still arguing over what fairness was ever supposed to mean.